How great of an actor is Gary Oldman? Characters like Sirius Black and Commissioner Gordon were a huge part of many of our childhoods, and we have none other than the 64-year-old veteran to thank. But all good things come to an end, and Oldman recently announced that he's set to retire after his Apple TV Plus series. In this video, we'll be talking about his retirement and movies of him portraying real-life people, because why not? First and foremost, what did Oldman say? During an interview with the Times of London, the actor sat to talk about his role in the hit show Slow Horses, but discussed his plans for retirement. He's prepared to hang up the wand, trench coat, and cigar after an undoubtedly successful career. He talked about how he's always had interests other than acting, and planned to do things when he was younger, but as the years went by, he didn't have time for any of that. Honestly, who does? The actor then mentioned his age, saying he'll be 65 soon and that 70 is just around the corner. He doesn't want to be active when he's 80 and plans to fully retire by then. Oldman thinks ending his career as Jackson Lamb would be the perfect way to go. Lamb being his character in the show, of course. Speaking of the Apple TV Plus show, let's take a look at Slow Horses and Gary's role in it. Following up with the show Slow Horses, Apple TV Plus is known for quality original shows like Ted Lasso and Severance. As much as we'd love to talk about those two powerhouses of storytelling, we'll be looking at Slow Horses, a new crime thriller that's been renewed up to season 4. And get this, season 2 hasn't even aired yet, so we've got a solid year or two for more Gary Oldman content. So the show is about a group of dysfunctional agents who serve as a dumping ground for MI5 because of their career-ending mistakes. When we say MI5, we don't mean Mission Impossible 5. You won't see Tom Cruise falling out of a plane here. The military intelligence agents have to deal with their obnoxious boss, Jackson Lamb, played by the man of the hour in this video. The team navigates its way through sinister threats in the espionage world to defend England. The show is based on the Slough House books written by Mick Herron. Slough House is basically the place the washed-up MI5 spies go to because of their failing careers. Kind of a clever play of words, huh? Slough House. Slow horse. Get it? Oldman's character is considered to be a rude, relentless, and obnoxious boss who refers to the group of slow horses as MI-useless. Yeah, that's an example of an unclever play of words. But it looks like the actor is having a great time with this role since he finds it honorable to end his career with it. Let's talk about Oldman's career. Before we reach the segment about him portraying real-life people in movies, let's look at some other films first. The Academy Award-winning actor earned that title with his role in the 2017 biopic Darkest Hour. He was also nominated for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy in 2012 and for Mank in 2021. The worst part is that all three of these movies are based on true events, so we can't talk about them just yet. But before his newfound love of portraying historical figures, Oldman starred in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy as detective and later turned Commissioner Gordon. Most DC fans considered this to be the best adaptation of the character since previous ones have gone unnoticed, and we haven't really seen a lot of J.K. Simmons in the Snyderverse. Other notable roles include Sirius Black in the long-running Harry Potter franchise. And if you haven't gotten to those movies yet, be warned because we're about to lay down a huge spoiler. So who else bawled their eyes out when Sirius died in Order of the Phoenix? Bellatrix Lestrange was probably the most hated character in history after that. He's also the voice behind Lord Shen in Kung Fu Panda 2 and was in Matt Reeves' Dawn of the Planet of the Apes as Dreyfus. Oldman starred in Hannibal back in 2001, the Anthony Hopkins movie, not the show, with a very attractive cast. Obviously, there are tons of other movies he's been in. These were just some of the more popular ones. Following up with his future projects, Oldman did say he wants to retire soon, but his upcoming appearances in films and shows say otherwise. We mentioned Slow Horses going up to season 4, right? So he's still active for a few more years. But apart from TV shows, the English actor has also been cast in Nolan's upcoming dramatized biopic Oppenheimer, which is a story about the creation of the atom bomb. Oldman plays President Truman, the 33rd U.S. president, and 2 letters away from being an internet meme. You know, because of a Truman and Okay, that was terrible. Sorry about that. He joins the film in a very big cast, ranging from Cillian Murphy to Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Who was in charge of casting, and why weren't we hired? Anyway, this is one of the most anticipated movies to release in 2023, besides Greta Gerwig's Barbie, of course. Apart from Oppenheimer, Gary's other scheduled projects are unknown. He was supposed to star in a film called The Bayou alongside Dylan O'Brien and work on yet another biopic titled Flying Horse. Boy, he sure loves biopics, huh? Well, let's see just how much, because we're going to be talking about the movies where he plays real-life people. Moving on to movies where Oldman played historical figures. First up, Sid and Nancy. What better way to kick off your career than by playing the role of the one and only Sid Vicious from Sex Pistols? In this 1986 drama and musical, the English actor looked deep into the troubled, provocative, and volatile persona of the bassist to truly capture the punk personality. He was even hospitalized because of his diet, which consisted of only melons and steamed fish. Talk about dedication. Former bandmates were initially against the movie and its undertones, but Gary's performance changed their minds. Sid's mother even gave the actor some of her son's original accessories, which he wore throughout the film, following up with the assassination of JFK. We know it's a sensitive topic to talk about. In the 1991 true story political thriller, Oldman portrays Lee Harvey Oswald, the man who assassinated the 35th president of the United States. Once again, the masses were completely against this film being made, but his great performance changed their minds. Originally, the script gave very little for Gary's character, but the English actor dug into the assassin with his own research and gave a compelling performance. It's kind of poetic, going from an assassin in JFK to a president in Oppenheimer. Up next, being the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. You knew this film was coming, so it's time to talk about Darkest Hour, the reason that Oscar sits on Oldman's shelf at night. Through intense research, old footage, and recordings of his speeches, the actor managed to do the role of Winston Churchill justice. Not only is this a psychologically demanding role, but it takes a toll on you physically, too. With the help of artist Kazuhiro Tsuji, Oldman was subjected to prosthetics, makeup, and a few tweaks on his own image to really sell that look. The process took around 3 hours to complete. Now for a queer classic. In Prick Up Your Ears, the future Academy Award-winning actor takes the role of playwright Joe Orton in his tragic tale that brought tears to a lot of viewers. Oldman perfected Orton's mannerisms and body image to such an extent it was as if we were watching the actual Joe act on the big screen. This was when the actor had recently wrapped up Sid and Nancy. Perhaps this is where his love for biopics blossomed, not to mention his riveting performance as Herman J. Mankiewicz. Mankiewicz was a screenwriter and the mind behind the cult classic Citizen Kane. David Fincher took it as his responsibility to direct a film about the thought process throughout the 1930s and granted Gary the titular role in Mank. Not only did he exceed all expectations, but it's also as if someone sent him back to the 30s so he could learn all about life back then and translate it into a 2020 Netflix original. Fans adored his performance, and so did the director, who described the actor's process of getting into the role as an osmosis or behavioral vacuum. Ugh, filmmakers and their fancy schmancy words. Lastly, what does this say about the actor? It's one thing to act like a fictitious character like Sirius Black, but to capture the true essence of an actual person who lived on this earth and had an effect on society is a whole other task. From body changes to flawless executions, the 64-year-old seems to be unstoppable in this genre of cinema. All this makes us wonder who would get the absolute honor to play Oldman if they were to ever make a biography about his life and career. And that's a wrap with this video. What are some of your favorite performances by the Academy Award winner? Let us know in the comments below. As always, leave a like and hit that subscribe button to see more of our content. See you at the next one.